And let's get the latest now on a conflict that has been raging since April, 6 months ago in Sudan. The paramilitary group, the RSF, took up arms against the country's army and the military ruler Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. It's believed up to 6 million people have since been displaced. Sudan is part of the increasingly unstable Sahel, which is a strip of country stretching across Central Africa from Mali in the west to Sudan in the east. Now, we've seen a number of coups in that region in recent months. And in Sudan now, it's believed many fighters from across the Sahel are making their way to Khartoum to join the RSF. The humanitarian situation in Sudan continues to worsen. An estimated 9,000 lives have been lost since April. And there are also horrific reports of sexual abuse and sexual slavery. Let's speak now to our reporter in Sudan, Naba Mohiedeen. Naba, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just wondering if you could give us the very latest on the fighting and which areas is most of the conflict being seen?
Good evening. Right now the fighting is still escalating in Khartoum and in Darfur region and also West Kordofan. Right now RSF are losing their grounds in Khartoum, so they are compensating this with winning more grounds in Darfur. They are withdrawing from the capital, but not because they want to withdraw, but because nothing to control more, nothing to loot more, and no one to terrify more. So right now RSF are trying to control Darfur region, and there is also some opinions say that maybe it will be a very good card or a negotiation card in the upcoming talks. So right now they are controlling some military bases in Darfur and in Kordofan, Western Sudan. There is battles all around Western Kordofan and Darfur region generally, but in Khartoum the fighting de-escalate a bit. But unfortunately also accidents or fighting take a place from time to time. Like just 2 days ago, there is a new shelling in a market that killed over 34 people, over 34 innocent people who just want to go to buy goods and food for their children. So right now Sudan is still struggling with the fighting, but RSF are moving from the capital to Western Sudan, Darfur particularly. The situation is really bad. The fighting seems to be not de-escalating generally, and RSF are threatening to extend the war and to go to the safest places. But right now they are trying to control Darfur region because their social bases there, they are fueling their supplies and people from there as they are bordering Central Africa and Chad. So the situation is escalating, and we are expecting that RSF will make a turmoil in Darfur, and a civil war is looming in that war-torn region.
And we're also hearing extremely disturbing reports. The UN Human Rights was talking about this, women and girls being held as sex slaves in Darfur, and generally a lot of women being sexually abused. Talk to me about that.
Actually, yes, RSF are accused directly with the assaults and with abducting women from Khartoum and also women from Darfur. UN said they have resources confirmed that RSF are putting women in trucks, put them in chains, and something looked like slavery and sexual abuse and exploitation. So right now, Sudan seems to be like the Sudan 300 years ago. So the situation is really bad for women and girls, and it's really risky, and RSF are controlling some areas between Khartoum and Darfur, so they are enslaving women from there, they are abducting them, they are using them in a very bad way due to UN reports and eyewitnesses and a lot of resources that confirm that for us and also for the UN agencies. So the situation is really bad for women and girls, and it's getting risky every day whenever this war extended and negotiation talks are held. So right now there is only one solution for that, to preserve women's rights and girls' rights, to stop this war, to preserve human rights and also, of course, protecting women and girls in Sudan.
We're hearing reports that people who were involved in some of the coups across the Sahel have now made their way into Sudan and are supporting the RSF. What more can you tell us about this?
Actually, yes, this is 100% true. Since the first week of the war, I was in Khartoum and I saw a lot of militants from RSF. They are not Sudanese because this war right now, especially for RSF, it doesn't have any ethics or any goals right now. It's a war of looting citizens, looting banks, cars, houses. Nobody is safe right now from the looting in Khartoum. And now after they looted Khartoum, they moved to other regions, safer regions to loot. So yes, a lot of militants from Sahel area came to Sudan. They were promised by RSF militia that this land is for looting, and because citizens fled the war and people are fleeing, there is 6 million people fled the war. 4 million of them are from Khartoum. So yes, Sahel militants came to Khartoum and other regions and looted properties of people, of government, cars, jewelries, everything. Even my house was looted, my family house was looted, so everybody was looted in Sudan. And yes, Sahel militants are accused of joining RSF. And as I told you, this war is extended right now because it doesn't have a goal. It's a war of looting, and a lot of militants find it a very good goal to come and loot and go to cross the borders. So yes, definitely Sahel warriors or militants are joining this an extended war. That war seems to be without goal but looting and killing.
Which is really difficult if you're trying to organize peace talks, because if there isn't a specific goal and something to work towards and compromise over. I know that there were talks, I think last week in Saudi Arabia, brokered by the Saudis and the US. Can you give me an update on what's happening with any planned peace talks, and also what's happened to the country's military leader, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan? Naba, just checking if you can hear me. I think there might be a delay. I was asking on the status of peace talks and the military leader, al-Burhan. All right, I think we've lost her, but certainly the picture painted by our reporter in Khartoum in Sudan Naba Mohiedeen telling us that nearly 6 million people have been displaced, 4 million of them actually from Khartoum, confirming the reports we're hearing that fighters from across the Sahel, often involved in those coups we've seen in recent months, have actually been flooding into Sudan. It does seem, though, that the RSF at the moment is concentrating its energies on Darfur with extreme concern about violations of human rights there.